Hello everyone, Ben Williams here from Old Tin Cup, and today we're going to be talking about some of the basics of pruning your fruit trees. Now with this is very common topic this time of the year, and I wanted to shoot a quick video explaining this. This is going to be more geared toward, in this video, pruning an existing tree, something you might have already released, that we'll talk about in a different video series on how to identify and release. But this is more of a introductory how-to with pruning and some of them kind of techniques. And for a lot of this, I use typically, let's say, a chainsaw. At this stage, it's not really applicable, but sometimes, and I'd be wearing my chaps accordingly, but most of the time when I'm doing a established tree, such as this, I'm using a pair of hand loppers, hand snippers. I got a nice little silky hand saw here that I use for a lot of my habitat work, and then a nice pole saw behind me. I don't have a chainsaw one or anything like that. It's just a plain Jane pole trimmer. So what I want to do is I want to specifically target this smaller apple tree behind me, the one that's kind of in the back there. You might be able to see the blue ribbon. I can't really tell if you can see that or not. I've started to trim these a little bit. I still have to take a little bit more out of the centers of a couple of these apples, so they'll really get some real good high production, top them out a little bit so that they more start growing out instead of up. So we got a quick introductory. Basically with these trees here, I want to lift them. A lot of people say they want scrapes underneath them. I say hang a licking vine or something like that around your trees and use that for your scrape rather than relying on a branch to be there. I'd rather hang one off of a branch off to, let's just say, right here. I'd rather hang that vine, let's just say right there. But for this application, I'm doing them in my front yard, so I'm not going to be adding a scrape to this. But I have been dropping these trimmings. I actually do have deer tracks coming in the yard from across the road, as well as tons of piles of rabbit scat underneath these that are already starting to utilize the bark and stuff like that for some good nutrition this time of the year. So I leave all my trimmings typically on the ground. I'll leave these for another month or two, let the deer and rabbits and stuff utilize them for the best, and go from there, even though it's in my yard. But quick down and dirty, like I said, is this video. I want to talk about it. Trimming, I want to start with, you got the pole pruner as well as the handsaw, and we'll look at this tree. Alrighty. So what we have is this apple tree right here. It's a very small apple tree, pretty common to something you might find in like a goldenrod field or something like that, very bushy like this. But typically there probably won't be these many lower branches because of the browse that the deer will put on this in the yard, but you're getting a lot of that here. So I'm going to raise this tree. I'm going to probably raise it to about my hip high, take everything off on the bottom branches, and I'm probably going to clip this top out of it right here. That way this tree starts growing out horizontally rather than vertically. That's a dominant leader. I want to clip that leader. I'll probably clip the other couple of them, try to reduce it back, figure out which one's going to be the best branching leader going forward. This is the first time I've ever touched these trees moving into this house, just within the last year. So first thing I'm going to do is eliminate these branches. Rule of thumb with these trees is you could go maybe as much as a quarter or a third, something when you're trimming them. These ones in a yard setting aren't that stressed, so I could go a little bit heavier. I could probably go that third on these, but on a native or wild apple tree that you might find out in your goldenrod field or something like that, I wouldn't go more than a quarter at most. In that first year, I highly recommend to people just to trim it enough to knock out any competition around it. The reason for that being is because I don't want to shock that tree, and I also don't want to encourage a ton of suckering. So I'll just cut the existing out of it. I'll cut grapevines out of it, and what that'll do is help release that tree and make it better. So with this one right here, just want to use this for a quick example of a topped variety. This is a very small, I believe this is a dwarf tree. So what I did is I clipped actually the central leader right out of it. It kind of sprouted funny, and this should have been trimmed better going forward. But from now on, I want to cut that, clip that, and then I'll have my scaffolding come off of this. Be the same thing with these. I'll be taking this clip out right here. That's good. I'll take that guy out there, and probably one or two of them right there. So most of this will be out of the top, and I'll trim out the bottom here. So we'll get this propped up in the tree. Hopefully I got the branch picked out where it's going to sit. That way. Oh, I had this picked out already when I moved the phone. There it is. Look at that. I even left the perfect branch for this. Take the saw out. There. And now you guys can see what I'm doing here. So this is going to be a quick video. Sorry about the chicken coop and the horse pasture. I'm sure they'll gobble and stuff like that. But what I want to do first is I'll pick out my lower branches. I'll get them clipped out of this first. If you want to start with your dead branches like these ones down on the bottom that have just been rubbed by the mower and stuff like that, that's what I would attack that first year. But once you've released that tree and you're ready to start the pruning process, this is where you would be at this video. So I'm going to take these off. Very nice and tight to the bark. That way I get a nice heel on my cuts. There we go. That one out of the way. There. One there. This guy's coming out here. That one out. Now I don't want to take too much this first year either, because I will be taking a fair amount of leaders off of the top of this tree. But some of these, like this interior crossing branch right here, that's rubbing on this good solid well-formed branch. It's got no scars, no issues, so I'm going to leave this dominant lower branch because this is going to be a good apple picking branch for the future. I'm going to take this inner crosser out. This is also going to allow me to have better airflow throughout this tree. Again, trying to be really careful and not cutting into the bark of the tree, injuring it. Alrighty, so this one probably take this one. As well as that one there. Nice clean cut. That's why it's really important to have a nice sharp saw for it. Some of these interior branches I'm going to take out for airflow. You won't have good apple production on these interior branches either with it. But this has got good scaffolding. You can see these branches break nice and good off the limb. Typically I'd use a small pruner in this application for interior branching like that. This guy probably underneath here with a ribbon on it, we're going to take that one too, because that's going to be overcrowded. You can see it had only 2 apples on it this past year. So this one, and I might going forward even take this whole leader out once I get this pruned up a little bit better. But this branch, we will probably do a reduction cut on this. I'll probably take this one, that one there. That way that branch has got nice form to it. And then, now that we've clipped the bottom, you can see it's already lifted this tree up. It's going to have good airflow going up through the tree. It's not going to be all choked out at the bottom. Typically, in a field setting, you'd see that would be all browsed off. But you can see that gives a real good illustration here. See if I can get my finger in there. How this tree's lifted now, and airflow can come up through this tree. So, now I'll take my pruning saw, and hopefully I don't run out of video here. And I'm going to clip just 2 main leaders with this saw quick, and we'll do the wrap up, and I'll do a little bit more trimming after as well. But this main leader here, I want to go to a good scaffold branch right there, and I'm going to take that whole leader right out. Take that whole top out, because I want this tree to grow horizontal now, and that vertical can come out, and I'll be doing some reduction later on in the winter here when I get the ladder out here. But we'll take that one, and we'll probably take, let's just see this one here. Here's a good one, because I want that to train as the positive leader on that scaffold. So actually I'll probably take this guy all the way back. And that's a good example right there of taking the top of a branch that's going to be heavier, taking it higher up, and then taking a cut closer to the stem of that tree. That way you don't have any issues with peeling along the bark. So we want that to be our new dominant leader in that tree. We're going to clip the top and clip the top real quick after this video is done. I'm going to end the video though before I run out of video space. But we're going to take the rest of that leader, the rest of that far leader, again, topping that tree down, allowing it to sprawl horizontally. This tree is the perfect situation for this. We're going to have a lot of good airflow with this tree now, a lot of good scaffolding. It's topped out, ready to go. I'm really looking forward to having some good, delicious apples here at the homestead with this tree. So we're going to be doing videos as well on freshly planted trees with minimal trimming and tuning and training, as well as a fencing demonstration video, as well as coming out with a soon-to-be identifying one in a natural setting, whether it be a field, forest edge, something like that, pasture ground, those kind of trees, and what the steps are with those. But if you've already established a tree location, trees maybe at your homestead, maybe out in a small orchard you planted a handful of years ago on your piece of property, this is that next step, is to shape these trees. This would have been done typically a long time ago, and I wouldn't be cutting as many big branches with this. But in this case, I've probably only cut not even a quarter out of this tree already, even with taking the top. So I'm actually going pretty light with these. The plum that this is actually sitting on has been trimmed a lot harder, but depends on the tree. It's not really hard, but it is an art and a science, so you have to know what you're cutting and why to cut it. Again, these lower limbs, it's going to allow airflow, as well as be able to maintain around this tree as well, to not let it overgrow. So we'll be finishing up with this tree, a couple more cuts with the pole pruner, and we'll get back to it. I got archery leagues tonight at Heritage at 6, so I got to get chopping on daylight. I got to get the horses in and the birds fed, so it's a busy night here. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into this video. I hope you like it. Leave your comments down below and any questions you might have about pruning trees this time of the year. It's something I really enjoy doing. I mean, today it got maybe low 20s, but started off right in the single digits this morning, and I really do enjoy trimming trees this time of the year. So love to answer any questions you have on pruning or anything like that. This is a single take video like we always do. No fancy edits, no cuts, no funny stuff. We just give you the straight content. So I hope you guys found this information good. I'll catch y'all next time in the field, in the office, in the shop. See ya.